Okay, so we're looking at two documents today,
Mm-hmm.
and on the surface, they look basically identical.
Mm-hmm.
Same font, same wall of text, the same frantic scroll to the bottom just to click agree.
Just so you can use your phone.
Exactly. But if you actually stop and read them side by side, the
Mhm.
difference between the iOS 18 and the iOS 26 agreement isn't just an update.
No, it's a completely different legal reality. It's a fundamental rewrite of the relationship between you and the device.
And the dates are key here.
They are. We are comparing the agreement from July 11, 2024, that's iOS 18, against the one from exactly 1 year later, July 11, 2025.
And in just 12 months, everything changed.
The legal architecture of the iPhone hardened
No.
significantly.
I looked at the structure first.
Yeah.
The 2024 version was simple, right? Sections A, B, and C.
Correct.
But this 2025 document, it adds a Section D, a whole new jurisdictional supplement.
And that is probably the most telling structural change. I mean, Apple is essentially admitting that a global one-size-fits-all contract is dead.
So it's not universal anymore.
Not at all. They had to carve out specific legal silos for the UK, Australia, Japan, and Korea. It's legal fragmentation. The phone in your pocket now operates under different rules depending on which border you're standing inside.
And the rules for what you can actually do with that phone got, well, a lot stricter. In iOS 18, the section on system characters was all about Memoji.
Right, the cute, harmless cartoons.
Yeah. In 2024, that section 2F was basically just a copyright clause to keep you from, like, selling your Memoji.
But in iOS 26, that same section was totally rewritten to cover Genmoji and personal voice.
And that's the shift that really unsettles me. Personal voice, I mean, it's not a cartoon.
It's a digital clone of your vocal cords.
Exactly. And the contract reflects that power. It's no longer have fun with this tool. It's do not use this to break the law.
They had to insert those guardrails. The 2025 agreement explicitly bans generating artificial content that is sexually explicit or illegal.
A clause they never needed before.
They didn't need it for static emojis because you couldn't use one to deepfake a crime. As the tool got sharper, the legal leash got tighter.
But they also, it feels like they wash their hands of the result. There's that new disclaimer.
The one that says you should evaluate the outputs for accuracy.
Right.
That is the standard liability shield. They built the machine, but if the machine lies to you, that's your problem, not theirs.
Speaking of their problems, let's talk about the surveillance part. This is where that jurisdictional supplement gets really dark.
You're referring to the illegal content scanning clauses?
Yeah, for the UK and Australia. The text says Apple reserves the right to scan for and remove illegal content. It specifically calls out child sexual abuse material and terrorism.
It does.
And that sounds noble, of course. But technically, it's a huge shift, right? Your device is no longer a private vault. It's more like a patrolled hallway.
Legally, they're complying with the online safety acts in those countries. But you're right, the implication is clear. It establishes a hall monitor function inside the operating system.
So the system is now deputized to flag you.
If you generate or store prohibited material, yes.
And it's not just crime, it's health. I was shocked at how much Section 10 grew.
That was the sleeper hit of the document. In iOS 18, Section 10 was just a tiny clause about selling to the government.
But in iOS 26,
It adds HIPAA-covered entities.
which means the iPhone is now being legally positioned as a medical-grade tool.
It means they're positioning the OS to handle patient records directly. They aren't just selling to consumers anymore. They're selling to entire hospital systems. That subjects the device to U.S. federal health privacy laws.
And that's why the contract had to get so much bigger.
Exactly. To cover business associates handling protected health information.
So let's recap. We have a device that can clone your voice, act as a medical record keeper, and scan itself for crime. It sounds like a massive increase in responsibility for Apple.
You would think so. But have you looked at the limitation of liability clause?
I checked. It hasn't budged.
Not 1 cent. Whether the AI hallucinates or your health data gets mishandled, Apple's total liability to you is capped at $250.
$250. That's it.
The technology scaled up exponentially. Their risk profile stayed exactly the same.
That's the whole story right there.
Okay.
We aren't really signing a product license anymore. When the software can generate reality and police it at the same time, are we essentially just signing a surveillance contract and calling it a phone?
That is the question you should be asking yourself right before you click agree.